Hey guys, Phil Baumhard here. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about this book, The Scottish Dirk by James Foreman. This is a book that I got, well, it's really more of a pamphlet. You can see how thin it is. This is something that I picked up when I was doing my research for the skiing do I made out of the farrier's rasp, if you saw that video. But basically, I was kind of frustrated by the lack of information that there was online. Or rather, the lack of quality information that there was online. Because there's lots of hearsay, lots of keyboard experts, but I just wasn't finding what I was looking for as far as historical examples in the history of this knife with the evidence to back up what people were saying. And this is one of the few things that I could find that was in kind of a reasonable price range. I found this at the Museum of the Fur Trade website. They have a museum. It's a museum in Nebraska, and then they have a web store with this on here. And it was $16.95 is what it says on the back of here. I think I paid like $15, but the price isn't the point. What I wanted to do is basically not do so much of a book review, but a book overview, and just show you exactly what all is in this for someone who might be looking at this and going, you're not sure whether or not this is something that you want to bother trying to buy over the internet because you don't know what's inside of it. This is going to be something I'm going to try to do as time goes on, is when I have a book or some other kind of print media, I'm going to show you guys what's inside of it. So if you want to get it for your own, expand your own knowledge, it's easier for you to do that because you know exactly what's inside of it. Because that's my big frustration as I'm trying to go through and do my research on any given historical item, is that there's lots of pictures online, there's lots of articles and blogs, and everyone's got their opinion on stuff, but I like to see where they're getting their information from. Show me the evidence that supports your conclusion. So either actual historical finds or historical sources. I'm not just going to take it on the word of a so-called expert that a certain item is the way it is. But anyways, enough of my enough ranting here. Let's open this up and I'll show you what's inside of it. Okay, here's the book. So as you can see, it's a real thin pamphlet. And, I got this for about $15. If you go onto Amazon, this thing is listed for $75 or $60, something crazy expensive like that, which, I'm not saying not to spend that kind of money, but it's just, I can imagine somebody going out and buying this thing and then seeing it being so small, and they're like, what am I, why did I spend all that money? So, wanted you guys to see what actually all you're getting. So basically, it starts from the beginning with Scottish dirks, with their origin as bollock knives and dudgeon daggers, which is what we have here. And then it basically just sort of takes you up through the history of the dirk. The skiing dees are kind of mentioned in there a little bit, but this is mostly the dirk. So there's your classic kind of carved handles, and it's got it broken up by year as well. Let's see. But mainly it's all 1700s. There's the ones with the little buy knife and fork that come in the sheath. But the regimental pattern of dirks, that's mainly what we have as far as historical examples of dirks. There's some of the early ones, the grollock knives with the antler handles, kind of the common man knives. It gets into the history of the stone being set into the handle, where that came from. There's one there. Now this is into the 1800s, which is where most of the dirks are, is the 1800s, which to me is fairly recent history in my mind, since I'm used to researching Viking Age type stuff. And they get kind of fancier, and the it talks a little bit about the history of the Scottish Highlanders and the Highland regiments in the British Empire, because it became part of their dress uniform, these dirks, and so they're used all over the world. Wherever Britain fought its wars, India, Africa. So for the price, there's not really much bad I can say about it. I mean, it's a great resource. It does, for the most part, tell you where these blades were found, where they came from. It doesn't always have the history for them, and that might just be because, you know, they don't know. But where it does, they do kind of say where it came from and the year it's from. Another big downside to this book is the quality of the photos. I mean, as you can see, it's just black and white, and then sometimes there, I think, scans of other photos. But like, you know, that one, that's just the exposure just isn't there. You can barely kind of tell what that is. You know, these are a little underexposed, so not the greatest quality in photography, unfortunately. But again, this is why I'm doing this kind of overview, just to show you what it is you're getting. So, but again, The Scottish Dirk by James Foreman. Definitely an interesting read. This is some of the best information that I've been able to find on Scottish Dirks and skiing doos. I mean, there's other information online, blogs, forums, yada yada yada. But it's great to have this at my fingertips that I can just open up, you know, and look at. I don't have to worry about the website disappearing or closing or my computer crashing or any of that stuff. So for the price, I would definitely recommend picking it up if you're at all interested. The website that I bought it from, the Museum of the Fur Trade, doesn't actually have these listed anymore as for sale, so I don't know what's up with that. They do have other, what looks like pamphlets for sale there that I haven't actually looked at, but a lot of interesting subject material on there, so definitely would recommend checking that out. There's a site called ScottishSwords.com, something like that. Just Google search the title and the author's name, and I think it's available there for like $12. But you know, Amazon has this for a real expensive price. So this may be out of print. So if you think you might want it, I would just jump on it for the price. Well, hopefully you guys found this video helpful, or at least informative. Like I said, I'm going to try to do more of these as time goes on. But if you want to help support the channel, you can check out my Etsy web store. I've got knives, axes, little chainmail doodads available for sale on there. So that really helps me out. I've also got a Patreon page if you want to help support the forge that way. But you can also just subscribe to the channel. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under Blackheart Forge, so you can kind of just keep up with the latest and greatest. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be more Viking.